Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful, unexpectedly beautiful March morning. I thought I'd take this opportunity to go for a little drive and go to my favorite spot down by the river here. So I'm going to take you along with me, and then I want to talk to you about a few things. My name is Zia, and I make videos about full-time van life. Well, the cherry trees are starting to blossom. Spring is on the way. Oh, this makes my heart so happy to see the pink blossoms coming out. This street is going to be so pretty. There's a bald eagle in that tree. The tree on the right. I can't seem to zoom in any closer, but I'm sure you can probably see it. We get a lot of bald eagles down here. I wanted to talk to you about something that I had mentioned during my interview with Bob Wells on Cheap RV Living. If you haven't seen that video yet, from when I was in Quartzite, Arizona, I'll leave a link below to that. When I was in Quartzite, I had heard so much about the nomad community, how helpful they were, how wonderful the people were, and I certainly experienced that firsthand. I made some wonderful friends. And a few times when I was having issues with Luna, complete strangers come up to ask me if I needed any help. I had mentioned to Bob that so far I had found being a nomad in Canada was a fairly solitary thing, and that I wanted to try and change that somehow, try and create a sense of community for Canadian nomads. And any American nomads that come up to visit us obviously would be welcome in any community we could create. And that's a daunting task to some degree, because Canada, like the US, is an awfully big place. And how was I going to do that? So I've been thinking about it, and quite a lot of people have sent me emails and messages about, yes, I'd really like to find some community, and is anything happening? Where can we find that? And I haven't created anything yet. One of the best places to go to look for people to travel with, especially, or to camp with, would be groups, and they're usually private groups, some are public, on Facebook. The best way to find them, for example, I had one lady reach out to me who I believe was in Ontario. I'm in British Columbia on the other side of the country. So I started looking on Facebook for Ontario van life groups. And there are quite a lot of them. Now, one thing I will say to you is you need to do your own research. Some of the groups are women only. Some of them are mixed groups. Some may even have special interest. It may be groups that like to go fly fishing. There's a group in the United States that was started by a couple of sisters. I think it's called Sisters on the Fly. And they love to go fly fishing. And so they have meetups with other women who like to go kayaking and fishing and do other activities together. And that's a really good way to meet people. Now, often these groups are not full-time nomads. Some are. Some will be just weekend travelers or summer holiday travelers. But joining some of these groups and going to some of the events may be a really good way to start making friendships in your area, and that can allow you to be there to be supportive for each other. That's a thing that I want to really try and get happening, not just people to go camping with and or to travel to other parts of North America with. People that you can get to know, that you can become friends with, so that if you have issues or problems that arise, you can be there for each other. That's one way to start looking for community, is through Facebook groups. Another thing would be to start a meetup. You can post an ad, say you specifically want it to just be women who like quilting. Are there any full-time or part-time van life people out there who like to quilt? Let's arrange to meet at the provincial park, campsite. I think in some ways, spending a lot of time with other people in a group is it's kind of important to have some commonality, whether it be your spiritual beliefs, your philosophy about life, your hobbies. Are you into outdoor activities like hiking or canoeing, kayaking, skiing? Or are you somebody who likes to be out in nature, but you like to be quiet and have a glass of wine and read a book? These are the things you can find out when you start to meet up with people and get to know them. A lot of people who are full-time nomads are introverts. We may love people and love being with people, but we really like our quiet time too. We need that to recharge our batteries, because being in a large group can be somewhat tiring, draining for introverts. And I'm definitely an introvert. I love people. I love being with people, but I need my quiet time. And the one thing I found with the group of women that I was staying with in Quartzite was that everybody just seemed to naturally understand that. We spent time together. It was wonderful. But we often spent time in our vehicles, or somebody would suddenly hop into their van and drive off. They might say where they were going, they might not. But we respected each other's time and gave each other space. And I think that's something that you will find when you become part of a nomadic group of people, a community of nomads. It's a very comfortable thing. There were no judgments, there were no restrictions. We just let each other be. The only events that I can mention to you that I know of that are coming up this summer in British Columbia, on June 7th, 8th, and 9th in Kelowna, British Columbia, at the college in Kelowna, is the RV Owners Lifestyle event. I went to it in 2022. It was a 4-day event back then, and there were, a lot of choices of seminars you can take, everything from everything you want to know about tires to a little talk on a couple that had spent time in Newfoundland and how to get there on a ferry and where to go and where to stay. So it was about vehicle maintenance. It was about just things of interest to people that are into RVing. And it's not for certain yet, but I may be doing one of the seminars up there. They haven't said what they would want me to talk about yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be about being a full-time senior solo female. So we'll see what happens with that. But when I was there in 2022, I met 6 other women who were full-time nomads. There's another opportunity. There are couples and singles at the event. It was a lot of fun. It was very interesting. So I'll try and put a link below for that as well. And then on August 23rd to 25th, I've mentioned it before, at my girlfriend's lovely cherry orchard acreage in Summerland, BC, we are holding our Boulder Women event. This is a women-only event. There is a cost associated with it because it's going to be a weekend of fun and also a 2-hour workshop that I'm going to be running called Time to Thrive. And you can find that on the events page at ireneharlow.com. And registration is now open for that. We have very limited space. We only have room for about 15 vehicles. We can obviously take more people than 15 if you want to come with a friend. So check that out as well. And that might be a really good way to meet a group of women and perhaps start forming some connections and some community. I'm going to be looking into opportunities to stay for full-time people to stay on Crown land. I think probably about 90% of Canada is Crown land, and you are allowed to stay on it. Now, I do believe that in some areas you're allowed to stay for 21 days, and in some areas it's very much like being down on the BLM land in Arizona and places like that where you can only stay 14 days. So I'm going to try and look into that a little bit more. See if perhaps this summer I can get some meetups happening for full-time or part-time nomads, and see if we can't get some sort of connections and community happening up here. Unfortunately, being in British Columbia, there's not an awful lot I can do to create a meetup in the other provinces. But if I'm ever back that way, I will certainly try and do that and let people know. On a slightly different subject, I had somebody ask me the other day whether I'd ever done a Q&A. And I said, no, I hadn't. But if there were questions that people had for me, if they wanted to write them in the comments on today's video, then next week I will take the most frequently asked questions and try and answer some of those for you. Let's do a Q&A. It'll be interesting to see what kind of questions you're going to ask me. I'll answer them as honestly as I can, of course. Since I have been back from my trip in the States, I've been working on getting Luna fixed. She's fixed now. Luna is finally fixed. I'm very happy about that. So now I can come and go as I please. So I'm going to leave it here for today and just hope that slowly we can start building a community for the nomads in Canada. If you have any suggestions of places where we can go and meet, of anything you can recommend that could help us get going on this really big task, it would be so appreciated. Leave me a comment below. If you're enjoying the videos, please like, give me a thumbs up, make a comment. I love to have the conversations going in the comments, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Thank you so much for all the new subscribers. Since in the past 7 days since I was on Bob Wells' channel, there have been over 1,500 new subscribers, and I'm so very grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming along. Welcome, and welcome back to all my regular viewers too. As I always say, wherever you are in our incredibly big, beautiful world, I hope you're having an incredible day yourself, and I'm going to say bye-bye for now.